Hello and welcome to another Friday website review where we take a look at a website and look at how it can be improved or make some suggestions of how it can be improved in terms of conversions. And in this video, one of the recurring topics here is visual communication and how you can use visual communication on your website to your advantage. I'm Shane from Thrive Themes and I'll be walking you through this review today. So the website we're looking at is called protectyourpumps.com. And let's start by just taking a quick look at the homepage. This is the homepage of the website. Just have a quick scroll through this. This is almost like a 5-second test, right? We don't have enough time to actually read anything, but we have enough time to get an impression. And so this is what it looks like. And well, one of the things I need to mention here is this is running on a Thrive theme. This is running on the Minus theme by Thrive Themes. And I did notice that, without tooting my own horn too much, I did notice that a lot of the issues that often come up in these reviews, we just don't have here because, well, that's one of the points of our themes, right? We kind of take care of the basics like typography and layout and so on to make sure that stuff isn't wrong or isn't done in a way that hurts conversions. I also think that it's well chosen here, right? The Minus theme is like a very minimal, elegant looking theme, and it's well chosen. And that's an important point to make, right? It's not just that there is good web design and bad web design. There's design that fits a certain purpose or fits a certain product, and there's design that doesn't fit a certain purpose or product. And in this case, I think it's very well chosen. We have, it's a product made for protecting expensive, elegant shoes. And so this kind of minimal, elegant design is a very good match here. Now, if we look at this above the fold area, right away, we have an example of very good visual communication, right? Right away, it's very easy to tell what this product is about because we have a very good and clear visual example that basically says, look, here's what your shoes look like if you wear them 4 times, and here's what they look like if you keep them protected with our product. So that's a great example of good visual communication. So while that is good visual communication in action, it only applies to the images here. So these 2 images are really doing all the work essentially. If we look at the above the fold part here, these 2 images are doing all the work along with these subheadings. And so the first thing I want to mention about visual design that I think is easily forgotten is that it doesn't only apply to images and graphics. It applies to everything on your page. It applies to the text, to the layout, and so on. Let me give you an example. One thing that's definitely missing here is one big headline that explains right away what this is about, right? Text is faster. We process text faster than images. And so here we have an interesting piece of text, for example. How about if you had a big headline at the top here that said, "Protect your pumps, keeps your expensive shoes looking new." That would be an example of a short title that summarizes what this product and this page is about. And I would have that instead of this. This here is authority proof, right? We call this authority proof. The product has been featured in some good places and we feature the logos of that here. That's a good idea, do that. But this shouldn't be at the very top. That shouldn't be the first thing you see on the page unless, if it's like maybe at the very top here, kind of hidden away. But this really is where I would expect to see a title and or at least if there was a huge title here, maybe it would work because then this wouldn't compete with everything else for attention anymore. But right now it's like, it's like in the primary position on the page, but it's not the primary thing. It's not the most important thing on the page. So there's a bit of a conflict there. So yeah, that's the first thing. And I say this often, but it's just, it's one of the simplest rules you can follow is every page should have a big fat heading that immediately communicates what it's about and why the visitor should care. Now let's go a bit further. Then we have basically this visual comparison here, and then we have the first call to purchase, which might be a bit early. There's almost no text, there's almost no content here. So the suggestion is, buy this right away, even though you don't know anything about it yet. That might be a bit early. And we move down, we have a testimonial. It's always good to have something like that in there. Then we have a how it works section. Okay, that's fine. A brief explanation of how this thing works. What's missing here is a visual, like how is this used example, right? Because I can see the result, I can see what the product looks like in the packaging, but it doesn't, the visuals here don't vibe with this text because what I'm expecting to see is basically just a picture of someone applying this protection layer to a shoe. That's what I would expect here, right? That would be better visual communication for this page section here. Okay, then we have more testimonials. Then we have some images, and actually I'll get back to these images in a minute. And then we have pricing tables. And so here, this is a bit confusing because we have a pricing table with 3 offers, right? 3 pack sizes. And then we have, okay, then it's protect your flats. I see this is, so it's protect your pumps and protect your flats. That wasn't immediately clear to me. And then we have another pricing table for the flats, I guess. Okay, and then we have a money back guarantee. We have FAQs, which is a good thing, right, to address objections. So that's a very good thing. And then we have more images and more testimonials. So that's good. The issue I have that I wanted to get to with the pricing tables is for this type of product, I don't think the pricing table is the right choice, because what you're getting here is different amounts of the same product. And a pricing table is great for technical products. Let's say you have a software product and you have 3 different license levels or 3 different feature levels, and you explain, which features do you have or don't have access to at which level. That's a situation where it makes a lot of sense to use the pricing table because you can use these bullet points to explain these differences. But here we don't, the whole difference between these 3 offers is basically here in these headings, right? And so, yeah, I feel like this is a mismatch, and I think it'd be better off to simplify this, because I think what can happen is that someone thinks, oh, what are the difference here? And start reading through all this only to discover that, oh, actually, it's basically, there's nothing really to learn here, right? There are some bullet points, but they really apply to everything. So it's kind of if someone actually takes the time to engage with this, the risk is that you're wasting their time. Now, for the next issue, another thing I want to talk about here, which is also about visual communication, concerns the logo here. So with this logo, we have an interesting problem because it's good design. There's nothing wrong with the design, but it's a bad logo. And that might seem strange to say that. But a logo has, good design is basically anything that looks good, right? Whereas a logo has certain things it needs to fulfill, certain things it needs to do well in order to be a good logo. And as a very quick summary, a logo should be memorable, right? It should be easy to remember. It should be relevant, obviously, to your business. So it should be in some way related to your business or your business name. And it should be scalable. And I think especially the first and the last point is an issue here. So if we look at the Protect Your Pumps logo, it is relevant to the business and it looks nice, but because it's very low contrast, there's nothing really very memorable about it, right? So it doesn't have a color that really jumps out at you or a contrast that really sticks in your mind or anything else that really makes it, it's just a nice looking thing basically, but it's like very shy and low contrast. And if we scale it down, as you can see here, at a smaller size, it becomes unintelligible. You can't really read the text anymore. You can't see what's going on anymore. It just becomes this soft colored blur. And that's something we definitely want to avoid. So you should really get this logo redone, turn that into something that is just like stickier, right? In terms of how it sticks to people's memory, something much stickier, and something that scales better than this. And while we're at it, this is like a side note, but I think it's worth mentioning because I've seen this again and again. So let's call it the JPEG problem. I noticed that this logo, when I downloaded it for the slides, is a JPEG file. Now, JPEG is just an image file format, and there seems to be a persistent rumor in web design that JPEG is always better, right? You should always use JPEG because it's a smaller file size. I've even seen that many web designers and designers believe this, even though it is wrong. And let's not get into details, but for flat images, you should use the PNG file format. And this is quite important. Like for good web design, it's quite important. But like I said, it seems like almost no one knows this. And in this case, the reason I'm also bringing this up is like when you talk to your designer about this, you should tell them how to redo the logo, right, with these 3 points in mind, and also tell them to deliver a very large version of this file, a very large version of this image, so you can scale it up and down as you need, and tell them to give you these files, these logo files in PNG files with a transparent background. It's very important for how you can use the logo, and it's also going to be important for the way you use it on your site. So this right here should be a PNG file. That would be better. All right, next let's go to the products. And here's another thing I noticed. So these product images that we have here are really glamorous looking. They're beautiful shots, but they don't show the actual product, right? So if I order this product here, I'm not getting this shoe at all. I'm not getting these shoes at all. And I think the thing is, these pictures are great. Again, visual communication. It's great to show your product next to these beautiful shoes and to have these shots, right? If you just had your product, if you just had this little pink packaging everywhere, that would be boring. So that's definitely a good idea. But the primary image here, if I look at one of these products here, the primary image should be the product. And so even this is, this is the product along with something that draws the eye much more than the product. And so what I do is have multiple images, the first 2 or 3 of which should just be the product, right? So I don't know, if a 10 pack, do you have all 10 in this one envelope? If so, just show the one envelope and maybe show the envelope open with some of the protection thingies inside of it, right? And if it's multiple envelopes, show multiple envelopes. And then, after showing just the product by itself a few times, like 2 or 3 images like that, then start showing images like this that associate your product with expensive shoes, basically. So this is, again, the way of using visual communication. What you're doing here is not wrong, but it would be better to more clearly communicate, this is our product, and here's our product in a context that makes sense. All right, and those are some points for improving the protectyourpumps.com website. And I hope that you can also take some good information out of this and, basically look at your own website and see which of these points apply to my website as well. Where can I use the same advice to improve my own website? And that's what I hope you can do with all the Friday website review videos. As always, if you like this and if you'd like to see more Friday website reviews, please support us by sharing the post, liking the video on YouTube and stuff like that, because the more people see this, the more it makes sense for us to invest the time to do more website reviews. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.